Hello everyone, my name is Moontide. Feel free to hit that like button and subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. It's great to see you here and I appreciate your time. I love video games because there are a lot of hidden lessons in them. I used to bond with friends about all the things they've learned from Final Fantasy games and RPGs, and it's been quite a journey and quite a ride. So these creative stories and templates are something that I will always enjoy. Today we're going to be talking about Super Mario Wonder. Super Mario Wonder, I just finished a stream series on. I was able to clear the game, beat Bowser. There are things about the game that challenged me that were often fish out of water type situations. My latest video, I poked fun at myself for that, as I was looking for a lot of things that I saw in previous Mario games, but I didn't let myself try new things in the level. I was just trying to get through it as quick as I could without being more mindful of what was right in front of me. And I took it as a life lesson. I remember doing that with a lot of games that I played growing up. So this just happens to be one of them. But life lessons that I apply to those challenges are things that I deal with in the real world, with work and things of that nature. So mindfulness is a big one. Emotional intelligence is a big one. Being aware of how my frustrations in a game when I'm meeting certain challenges has been a big one as well. Because typically my frustrations are because I see a challenge, I see a puzzle, I can't necessarily solve it at the time, but if I just stop and allow myself to try new things and allow myself to take my time, it usually is a much more rewarding experience than getting on social media and looking it up. Full disclosure though, I come from an era where that didn't exist, and if you wanted to beat a level or beat a boss, you had to either ask a friend who knew how to do it, or you just had to figure it out. So I learned to figure it out pretty early, and then I just get a sense of pride of being able to figure it out. And that's just the way I've been for a long time. Now I'm at an age where I don't necessarily have time to sit there and figure it out. So sometimes I look stuff up. But for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, that didn't need to happen. Definitely has been a good ride. And the game is really, really fun. There are a lot of unique things, particularly the Wonder Flower, that sort of brought a sense of curiosity to the experience. It made me curious about what was going to happen next. And Mario games have been around for a long time, and they still are able to manage to do that in a lot of different ways. Super Mario 3D Land did it in some really key ways too, with the double cherry power-up, for instance, which was super fun. Shout out to Super Mario 3D Land. I definitely highly recommend it if you're able to try it. But yeah, there were a lot of things that were very, very specific in certain beats where the Wonder Flower wouldn't just change the environment, but it would also change you as the character. And you were beset with different ways that you had to solve problems. Often I relate that to regular everyday life as being thrown into a situation that isn't necessarily your fault, and a lot of times it might not be, a lot of times not, but you learn to adapt and overcome, but you often have to give yourself time. And that is something that I try to illustrate. There'll be a few more Super Mario Wonder videos that I post with things that I learned from the experience. That is something that will be key. What I want to bring to this channel is not just reviews. I'll just say Super Mario Wonder 8 out of 10. Great experience, really fun game. Gameplay was great. Level design was phenomenal in certain key aspects. The audio was phenomenal in pretty much every aspect. There were some really memorable tracks there. But what I really want to bring is my experience with the games and how my personal reflections spring from going through the game and experiencing it and dealing with the challenges that it presents to me, because I feel like that's just what I want to bring. Some funny things that came to mind while playing the game. For instance, a couple of the things were captured on video. There were times where I was playing through the game and I noticed I was missing something that was pretty ridiculous. I would come back and I would notice it all of a sudden, but it was funny to me because I just didn't notice it. I always laugh when Captain Toad pops up for some reason because they managed to stick him in all of the recent Mario games, and I love to see that. I don't know why. Captain Toad makes me laugh. I like Captain Toad. He's really cool. He probably reminds me of like when my brother used to pick him on Mario Kart 1. Toad was always that dude. And in other games, I even saw a lot of references from earlier Mario games. And what I was constantly doing was I would get a new power, I would get a power up, I would get a medal, and then the power reminded me of something that you did in a previous Mario game, because I was constantly experiencing, which I thought was super cool. So being able to do that and bring that sort of fresh energy and experience to a 2D Mario game, I think is fantastic. But another thing is that the music often made me feel curious, just curious about exploring the environment. And I know I have a special appreciation of how hard it is to make good audio for games that, particularly back in the NES days, you couldn't make but so many audio tracks, but you had to keep people interested enough to go through the game. So the games had maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 different sound channels or something like that, and they had to keep you interested. They had to keep you from wanting to just play through the game silently, and there were plenty of NES games where I wanted to play through the game silently. So for me, music can make or break a game. There were different parts of the game that made me feel like I was on a roller coaster, particularly the level with the rockets. That level was one of the most memorable 2D Mario levels I've ever seen. I might be biased towards it just because of the fireworks and all that stuff, but it was just fun riding on rockets. It reminded me of how I felt when I first played through Contra 3: The Alien Wars, and there was a level where you were hanging off these rockets shooting all the aliens, and that level with the rockets in the Mario game reminded me of that. Like, I felt amazing when I first experienced that level when I was like 12. So I think there were a lot of different beats throughout the game that made me feel particularly just like I was on a roller coaster. And it's really hard to do that in a 2D game. Different sorts of excitement. I mean, I had my moments of frustration. I had my moments of, why does this level that looks like it's presenting a challenge to me directly, and it seems really straightforward, but I can't figure out what I'm actually supposed to do. But when I was able to figure it out, it was very, very rewarding. I may go back and do the special levels. I probably will go back and do the special levels when I find some time. But it has been a phenomenal experience for sure. I also think that my experiences with the game and the overall fun factor is phenomenal. There were things that were there that were expected. There were things that were there that I knew were pretty typical for a Mario game. But for a lot of games that I play through where I do expect certain things, I mean, for me, that's comfort food. I don't expect to boot up a new Street Fighter game and every single character has completely different moves. I expect certain things to be there and be fairly consistent, and that is part of the experience as we grow and we carry our experiences to new situations. That is something that I've used as a tool for life, and I think we all do. But I also realize that if I rely on those things too much, I can get lost in certain situations because I'm not allowing myself to try new things. So it's been fun. It's been fun, whether I was riding on a rocket, whether I was, running through a forest. Shout out to the Forest Illusion in Super Mario World, Forest of Illusion though. I don't think there's a forest level in a Mario game that will ever top that. But It's been quite a ride. It was nice to see familiar faces, like that caterpillar thing with the hat from Super Mario World that you used to make mad if you jumped on him too much. It's been quite a ride, so thank you for stopping by. I wish you the best until next time, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to like and subscribe. All right, see ya. Bye bye.